into my truck happy as a clam gonna go somewhere, and I started it up, and I always check the brakes, and guess what? They went to the floor. That ain't good. So I started it up. And I did it again. Oh, they really went to the floor that time. A whole bunch easier. So I decided to drive it around the yard, and I did have some brakes. Part of the system is working, but nothing like what I'd really like to have to take it out on the road. I shut it off, and I decided that I would go around and look at all the brake wheel cylinders on the inside, the rear, to check for leaks, and then I'd look at the calipers on the front inside to check for leaks, and you know what I found? Yeah, you guessed it, nothing. Now, I replaced the rear wheel cylinders not too long ago on both sides, so I really wasn't expecting them. And I thought, well, maybe it might be this master cylinder here. They've been known to leak, but usually if they're leaking, you will see something running down the back side there. But there's nothing there. Now, they can leak. They stick into the booster here far enough and drip down in the booster where you won't see it. So I'm going to go and take this master cylinder loose from the booster. There's 2 bolts or nuts on that side and one on this side over here. And I'm not going to take the brake lines loose if I don't have to. I'm just going to try and pull this thing forward and enough to see if it's leaking out the back side. Oh, and before I forget, I did check the back of that booster. Sometimes they'll leak from right around in there. And so I lubricated the bolts and the fittings with some lubricant. And I use this wrench right here, 14 millimeter. Be advised that this master cylinder actually has another bolt back here. When you take this one off, remove that clip and then get to the other bolt. Sneaky. Never had one of these fall off. Maybe that's why. And just pull that back and go ahead and take this nut off. Well, I see nothing. Anything there is what I just sprayed lubricant. So it looks to me, unless the master cylinder somehow is leaking internally, I must have a wheel cylinder somewhere. It's leaking. I'll just go ahead and pull that out. They just go ahead and fall off. I don't want to bend it too much. I'll be bending those brake lines. I think I'll put a little lubricant on that and put this all back together and start taking wheels off. Well, I checked my records, and 7 years ago I put these in, and both sides, these wheel cylinders, and this one looks good so far. So does that one. So this wheel cylinder looks good. That's wheel 1. No problem here. This is me and my lubricating oil here. I wonder what's behind this drum. see anything in there. Very dry on that side. Very dry on that side. So where do we go from here? I guess to the front now. I don't see anything here on this front, right front here on this caliper to give me any indication that this is my problem. And I've already checked the one on the other side, driver's side, so I'm going to focus my attention back on the master cylinder. I have a new master cylinder here. It's a cast iron one, not the aluminum like I have on the truck. Here's the instructions on how to bleed this. So I'm not going to go into this because there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that show you how to do it. But in any case, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug the ports on the cylinder, fill it with fluid first, let it drip out the ports, then plug the ports tight, and then slowly push in no more than 1 inch until the bubbles quit rising in the reservoir. And to show you more of what I had in mind. Okay, and what I'm going to do is block these ports off and fill this reservoir. Then I'm going to pump this no more than 1 inch at a time, slowly, until all the bubbles will basically come to the surface in here. Then I will put this in, remove the caps, put the lines on, and I will still have to bleed the brakes. Well, there it is again. I'm going to need these fittings right here, or at least this one, in my new master cylinder. Break this one loose. It's in between a 50 and a 60, and a crescent wrench works that. You can actually use a crescent wrench on all these, but if you have the right tools, use them. This here line wrench, I really recommend buying a set of those. And this one is, what did I say, 7/16. Get this line loose. You could also use a good pair of vice grips. You want something that will not slip. That's what you want. Okay, and this here, 22, and I'm going to break it loose. Okay, then we'll go ahead and take the cylinder off, put everything back together with the new cylinder. The master cylinder's in, new brake fluid, bled. I don't see any leaks. Let me show you what the pedal looks like. Okay, the pedal is much better, but I need to bleed the brakes because there's air in the line, but they do pump up now. Pretty nice, actually. It's a whole bunch different feel than it was before. It feels like you got something under your foot. Yeah, there's a lot of air in that line. Anyway, next thing I gotta do is bleed all the brakes. Yeah, this is so much better. So if you can't find any leaks anywhere, and like I pulled the rear wheels off as you saw and looked inside the cups, because sometimes they'll leak inside there. And anyway, might be your master cylinder. These can be rebuilt, these master cylinders. They don't cost that much if you rebuild one, but I just bought the whole kit and caboodle. That is so much nicer, even with the air still in the line. Okay. Hope all your repairs go well, and I do appreciate you subscribing and watching. Please hit the thumbs up if you would. Give me a hand, and bye for now, guys and gals.